This is a production of WKNO Memphis. Production funding for Sports Files is made possible in part by the WKNO Production Fund, the WKNO Endowment Fund, and by viewers like you. Thank you.
Today on Sports Files, we look at the history of the Egg Bowl with former Mississippi State offensive lineman Jan Gwynn and former Ole Miss quarterback Romaro Miller. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Tonight in Starkville, Mississippi, the battle for the Golden Egg is once again taking place as Ole Miss and Mississippi State continue their long-standing rivalry. A rivalry that has been going on since 1901. In fact, the Rebels and Bulldogs rivalry is the 10th longest uninterrupted series in the United States. The Egg Bowl trophy has been awarded since 1927. Tonight's meeting is the 110th in the series and first on Thanksgiving since 2003. Today on Sports Files, we'll walk down memory lane with two gentlemen who each helped their respective schools in their quest for state supremacy and the chance to control the Golden Egg, at least for a year at a time. Jan Gwynn was a standout offensive lineman for the Bulldogs in the late 60s, while Romaro Miller put together a stellar career at quarterback for the Rebels in the late 90s. We'll find out what the Egg Bowl means to a pair of former players who know as well as anyone. The incredible, far from edible Egg Bowl, next on Sports Files. Well, Jan, Romaro, thank you so much for being with us. We appreciate it. I'm glad I don't have to put a barricade between you two guys. You come as friends today. Let me start with you, Jan. Let's talk about the meaning of the Egg Bowl to you personally.
Well, I had the opportunity to play in 3 Egg Bowls at Mississippi State, and we had an unusual record of 1-1-1. And going back to, that's a long time ago, quite frankly, but going back, the rivalry has been going on since, I think, 1902. And it's 2 fine schools, you know, playing each other. Their kids on each squad, quite frankly, is he knows that have been friends growing up. They've been classmates. They played together on high school teams. They played against each other on high school teams. And they go on and play for Ole Miss and Mississippi State, and they watch each other play during the course of the year. And there's some great rivalries, but this absolutely is one of the greatest. There's no doubt it's fiery, it's competitive, but I played in 3 of those games myself, and our record was 1-1-1. So I've tasted the thrill of victory, the agony of defeat, and then a tie, which was unusual. But we're in the hardest and strongest, not only conference in the USA, but we're in the strongest division. And so we both have to make those battles throughout the year. And then when it comes down to the end of the year for this great, great game, it's really the survival of the fittest. It's who's left to play and who's going to play the best. And as we know, the records don't sometimes matter. But the intensity is always there. The pride is always there. And it's a lot of fun, not only to play in that game. I've actually been to 41 out of the last 42 games.
Wow.
The one I missed, my son was born. And so I've had the opportunity to see a lot of them and had the distinct opportunity to play in some. And it's just it's a lot of fun, and it's something you want to see.
And I know, Romaro, you'd echo a lot of those sentiments. Personally, what does it mean to you?
You know, it mean a lot. I grew up in Mississippi. I grew up in a town called Shannon, which is right outside of Tupelo. Mm-hmm. And we were roughly an hour from Starkville and also an hour from Ole Miss. So my family, probably just like a lot of families down in Mississippi, you have relatives that went to Mississippi State, had something to go to Ole Miss, and you know, as an alum from Ole Miss, I don't want to have to take those phone calls Friday morning if we lose this game this weekend.
We always hear coaches talking about the next game, and the most important game is that next game, or no game is more important than the others. You guys were behind closed doors, okay? So you could tell me now, and you could tell our audience, when it came to the Egg Bowl, It wasn't just another game, was it? Romero, let me start with you. How did the coaches approach the Egg Bowl?
No, it's definitely more than just another game. And, people talk about coach speech, and the coaches, when they start talking to the media and stuff like that, they portray it as something else. But once you close those doors, that's all you're going to talk about is, Mississippi State and Ole Miss and that rivalry and how much it means to each individual player and, the alumni base. And, like you said before, I mean, this game is huge. And Thursday, the game is going to be it's going to be a classic.
Jan, coaches, again, they say things, but really, behind closed doors, that's the one you want, right?
Well, we're probably going to agree on several things, but it's vitally important to recruiting. It really is about how kids make up their mind. And I want to say that I remember being told my senior year when I played, and I'm sure you've had the same conversation, but you're told that, and especially as a senior, you will never forget the opportunity that you've got to play in the Egg Bowl your senior year. And the way you play and the way the game comes out, at worst it's going to be a learning lesson about life. But the winning part of it's something you'll never forget. And I remember our coaches telling us that. Quite frankly, I remember what the weather was the week of the game. I remember what the weather was the night before the game, the day of the game. I remember what the #1 song was at that point in time, which was Van Morrison, Brown Eyed Girl.
Brown Eyed Girl.
And some others. So it is, as a senior, it's something that, the coaches will tell you behind closed doors is, man, this is something that you've got in your hand. If you hold on to, you'll never forget.
Say it, something you'll never forget.
And whatever happens, I think you learn from that. And the lessons that you learn in the competition is going to carry on throughout a player's life. And that's what's great about sports and football is that, life is a competitive situation. And so is football, and you learn so much about it. There's a lot of negatives that talked about different things about football, but the lessons you learn, go forth, for the rest of your life.
Well, let me ask you this. Can it be a truly successful season at Mississippi State or Ole Miss if you lose the Egg Bowl that year? Jan?
Well, it depending on your record, this year we're in ironically the same situation that Ole Miss was in last year.
You have to win this game tonight.
We got to win the game tonight, and we've got to do that in order to qualify for a bowl game. So it's very, very meaningful for us this year for that particular reason.
Right.
Last year, Ole Miss was in the same situation. Ole Miss has had a great year this year. They can give themselves an opportunity to go to a better bowl. It gives us an opportunity to get bowl eligible. So in other years where we both have winning records, it comes down to this is going to propel us to go to a better bowl, whatever that means, to go to Florida, go to a better bowl. So, yes, the season can be successful, but I promise you, if you're not successful in the game, it puts a dent in everything.
All right, Romero, let me ask you this. Let's say you can win 5 games, not become bowl eligible, but one of the games is winning the Egg Bowl, or you can win 6 games, but you lose the Egg Bowl and you go to a bowl. What's the choice?
That's a tough choice because, taking this year's game, we got a chance to keep Mississippi State from going to a bowl game. And as an Ole Miss fan and an Ole Miss player, that's the goal. You don't want to give them any success, especially as we were talking earlier about recruiting and stuff like that. Kids going to look at that. So if we can go and keep them from going to a bowl game this year, the coaches will be able to go out there and sell it to the high school kids a lot better.
Is there genuine dislike for each other? I don't mean personally, I'm talking about the schools. Or is there a bit of admiration, but it's kind of closed-door admiration for each other? Jan?
Well, I think it's different between the fans and the players, quite frankly. The players are looking at it, in my opinion, as competing. We're going to compete better. We're going to win the game. We're going to execute better. We're going to compete better, and may the best team win. And when it's over, normally you're going to go out and shake hands. It may be bitter. But now the fans, we all know it's a much more personal situation. But quite frankly, it gets out there. Yeah, you want to win the game, and you want to do. We want them not to go to a better bowl. We want to get qualified to go to a bowl game. But it's players versus players, and it's execution.
So there's the respect as a player. Romero, do you feel the same?
I feel the same way. Just making me think. This morning I woke up and I talked to a former Mississippi State quarterback, Wayne Matkins, on the phone, and talked to Matt Wyatt. And it's kind of interesting because we never even mentioned who's going to win the game. You know, we just talking about life, and they asked me, am I coming down? So, you know, playing football, you sort of respect the guys who've been in that battle, but as the fan side of it, man, the battle get real ugly sometimes.
All right, Romero, what is your greatest memory, your personal greatest memory of the Egg Bowl, playing in the game?
You know, my greatest memory was my senior year back in 2000 when Deuce McAllister threw me a touchdown pass. As a quarterback, you want to end your career in the Egg Bowl on the right note, and you know that's just the memory that I'll have, and I'll never forget that.
Jan, your favorite memory?
Well, it had to be obviously my senior year, and my sophomore year was big at the time because we felt like we won the game. Ole Miss came back and scored, tied the game, and we felt like we deserved to win the game. But my senior year, we were 5-5, and we were in a rebuilding mode. And we went into the game 5-5. We'd beaten Georgia, we'd beaten Vanderbilt, we'd beaten Oklahoma State. We were 5-5 going into the game, and we were playing at Oxford. And once again, I mentioned that Archie Manning was in my class. We were competitors for 4 years. We had the opportunity to play together in an all-star game in Jackson, which was an unbelievable affair. It's a lot more fun to play on Archie's team than to play against Archie's team, I can tell you. But anyway, I must say as a caveat that that was the year, 1970, that Archie broke his arm against Houston. And so he was not playing in the game. He actually played in the game after that. LSU would say it moved to the final game for television purposes, unfortunately, and they tried to play Archie with a cast, as you saw in the special, and you know it just didn't work. But we're 5-5, and we go into the game with a pretty good team, and their backup quarterback his name was Shug Chumler, and at the halftime, I believe the score was we were up 10-7, and you know, that was a point where our coaches, in not so many words, you know, on top of a table or a chair here, this or that, got up and said, you know, gentlemen, you've got something in the palm of your hand that if you hold on to it, you'll never forget. And we were able to hold on and win, I believe, 17-10, and gave us a winning season, which was absolutely one of the greatest things happen.
Romero, what does this mean to you? You see something like this. You get a shot of this?
That's a sound.
Jan brought it in.
Yeah, I know that's a sound that, as an Ole Miss fan, I can't stand. So hopefully the Ole Miss football team this year will keep those cowbells kind of quiet.
I won't ring it. Okay. I'll spare you.
Greg, if I might, Romero mentioned something about Wayne Matkin. And once again, you know, fans, as a fan, after I've got out of school and all, I've gone to all these games, you remember different things and a lot of special things and what have you. And we were playing at Oxford in his senior year, and Wayne Matkin was the quarterback, and Wayne had a bad case of the flu. And during the course of the first half got dehydrated and was not able to play the second half. But Deuce McAllister, who went on, was a great Saints running back.
Absolutely.
I guess took a pitch or something and threw a throwback to the quarterback, and this guy scored. Yeah. And I remember that.
Yep.
And so does Romero.
Oh, yeah.
And so does Romero. Do you truly have bragging rights in the state if you win that Egg Bowl for that following year? Is it truly, hey, you talked about it earlier with recruiting with the coaches, with just the whole perception. Do you truly control the state in the game of football in the Magnolia State if you win the Egg Bowl? Jan?
Well, I wouldn't say that you control the state, but it's a big factor for the next 12 months. You know, either the maroon and white or the red and blue are going to have that coffee cup out every Monday morning, and they're going to be very proud of it. And it's a big thing for our fans, and it's true for a year. Ole Miss has held the Egg Bowl trophy for the last 12 months proudly. The 3 years prior to that, we held it for 3 years. It went back to Ole Miss last year. And it is absolutely important for our fans, for our older fans, our younger fans. From a recruiting standpoint or some other things, it's not the end of the world if you don't win the game, because you're out there recruiting.
But it helps.
It helps.
It helps.
It does help.
Romero, your thoughts? You
know, yeah, the same thing. You're going to have Christmas around the corner. You're going to have your family coming in town, and you want to be able to talk to them. You know, I think when it gets about August, I think I sort of toned it down a little bit because you start to looking ahead what's coming around the next November, which is the game. So I think when the game get closer, you don't get overconfident. You don't want to brag too much because if you brag too much during this week, those calls going to come Friday morning. So
I completely understand. We don't have a lot of time, but I want to get your thoughts on the current state of affairs with the teams. You have a nice little rivalry going with Dan Mullen and Hugh Freeze. Mullen hit Mississippi State running, hit the ground running. Things have changed a little bit now with Hugh Freeze's arrival in Oxford. Let me start with you, Romero. What do you think about where Ole Miss stands right now with Hugh Freeze and their future?
You know, I think we're pleased with the job that Coach Freeze is doing. When he took the job, he came in talking about the journey and building the program, and he definitely taking the right steps to get there. And Rome wasn't built in a year, but hopefully he can continue to recruit and put players around the guys that he have this year, and hopefully sometime down the road we can make a run for the SEC championship.
And Jan, your thoughts on Dan Mullen and Mississippi State right now?
We're very, very excited down there about where we are in terms of going forward and being competitive in this league we're talking about. We've spent about $100 million in the last 4 years on facilities that are going to be finished actually next year. We opened up with Southern Miss in a new stadium that's going to hold, it'll be the largest on-campus stadium in the state, a little over 62,000, I believe. And we've got a new football complex that's just absolutely the best in the country, we feel like. And so we've sold out 20 straight games. We've been to 3 bowl games in a row, and we're trying hard to get to that 4th. And so we have a lot of momentum going, and we want to keep it. You know, we had some things happen this year early. The first game, our quarterback, our 5th-year quarterback, Tyler Russell, got a concussion.
Right.
And then Dak Prescott, who came in and is really, I think you'd like him. He's a super quarterback prospect and played well for us. And then he gets hurt, gets a nerve injury. So we've had some adversity during the course of the year, and we're up to the point now where here we are at the Egg Bowl, and we got a chance to get bowl eligible for the 4th year in a row. So we're real happy about things, and you know we want to you know, injuries and things that a lot of fans don't think about happen during the course of the year, and that's why I said earlier, you know, it's the survival of the fittest when it comes down to our big rival game, who's available to play.
Well, Jan, Romero, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the show. Enjoy. I know the game's going on right now. Enjoy it, and thank you so much. Continued success in your business endeavors and your careers, and thanks again for joining us.
It's a pleasure.
Jan Gwynn, Romero Miller. We'll take a short break. When we come back, it's our overtime segment. Saturday morning, the Memphis Tigers will host the Temple Owls at 11 a.m. in their home football finale for 2013. And when they do, you can expect a number of former Tigers supporting their alma mater. And in some cases, it may even be a couple of generations. Tommy Volmar played for the Tigers under Coach Rip Shearer. His father, Jeff, played for the Tigers in the late 70s. To say the Volmar family bleeds blue and gray would be the understatement of the year. But Tommy and his family have taken support for the Tigers up a few notches. When the Tigers are home at Liberty Bowl Stadium, you can expect the Fambulance to be on hand too. The party machine, with its amazing design work created by Tommy's wife Lenore, is a fixture on Tiger Lane. Tommy's entire family and countless friends are known as the Battle Cat Crew, and they have taken tailgating in the Fambulance to a new level, as you will see for yourself. Well, Tommy, first of all, tell me how you're able to get your hands on an ambulance and turn it into the Fambulance.
Greg, great question. We actually have a family friend that owns a procurement company that actually buys used fire trucks and ambulances. And we told them what we were going to do with the Fambulance, turn it kind of into the ultimate tailgating vehicle. And he said, I've got the perfect vehicle for you. And this is the ambulance sitting behind us.
So give me the history of how you were able to, first of all, purchase this. Second of all, turn it into this party tailgating atmosphere that we have here on Tiger Lane.
Sure. So about 5 years ago, there's a group of about 20 of us. We've been going to Tiger games for decades. We all decided we got a little tired of transporting tailgating gear to and from the game for years. We thought, wouldn't it be great if we got together and created kind of an ultimate tailgate vehicle that could actually serve as the party, let's say, for going to Tiger football games? So when we decided on the ambulance, we all got together and threw in some money, and we've just decided, year by year, game by game, doing little upgrades over time.
So when this vehicle is not parked here on Tiger Lane on a Saturday afternoon when the Tigers are playing a home football game, where is it and what do people say when they see it?
So we rotate this between the households, right? Because our neighbors love to see the Tiger ambulance in front of their house, as you can imagine. But the first thing they see is, oh my God. And then you see everybody with kind of mouth open, the gate pointing, and then rooting on the Tigers.
Now, it doesn't have the bells and whistles that an ambulance still has. You don't have these sirens and all that stuff, do you?
Of course we do, Greg.
You do?
You got it.
Do you ever pop them on here in the middle of the tailgate?
Non-stop. We always announce our entrance into Tiger Lane with the sirens blasting and go Tigers over the intercom. And hopefully, more times than not in the near future, we're going to be celebrating on the way out of Tiger Lane. You
were telling me earlier that you actually put on different themes depending on, I don't know, the way you feel, the opponent the Tigers are playing. Where do these themes come from?
Greg, look. This is about extreme tailgating. We're all big guys. I'm one of the smaller of the guys over here at Tiger Lane. And we figured this is a great chance to get family, friends, and colleagues together. So why only focus on hamburgers and hot dogs? We do themes from everything from Korean barbecue to extreme breakfast to Mexican fiesta night. So it's really kind of our chance to get together and celebrate. And we do it kind of on the high-end side. So the ideas are kind of the creations of our individual team members. We each, at the beginning of the season, divide up the season. And we each are responsible for one tailgate and one tailgate alone. So it's kind of a one-upsmanship each and every week. So it's a little bit of a competition. We might even have a trophy.
Now, you have, of course, a personal relationship with this university, having played here. Started out at Wisconsin, transferred to Memphis, played for your hometown team. So this is very personal for you. And I know you want to give back also to this university and to the fans that supported you by being out here and supporting the team and future teams.
Absolutely. We talked about this as kind of an outward expression of our Tiger pride. We stay in contact with a lot of former players, a lot of alums, and we look for any and every way to kind of be involved with the local community. We spend a lot of time volunteering the Fambulance and our time, effort, energy to support local causes, but anything the university asks us to do, whether it be pep rallies, parades, walkathons, we try to be involved with.
All right, on any given Saturday when the Fambulance is here at Tiger Lane, what's in the Fambulance? What do you bring for the tailgating parties?
So in addition to a great attitude and a lot of energy, right, it could be everything from onboard beer. We call it Bob, beer on board, a 2-keg kegerator. We've got a custom TV, a 40-inch plasma TV in the back. We may be modifying our spare tire exchange to become a margarita machine.
Do your former teammates come over and pay a visit to the Fambulance?
Are you kidding me? Yeah, it's nonstop. It's like a great reunion. So if anything else, it's a great chance for them to share an adult beverage or a soda and catch up on old times and see how our kids are doing and start to look forward to what the future recruiting classes of Memphis Tiger football may look like.
And this particular date happens to be homecoming, so even more than the norm will come here and pay their visits around Tiger Lane, including a visit over here to the Fambulance.
Absolutely. Again, it's kind of a rallying point, and if anything, it's always an excuse for us to get together and celebrate old times and future victories.
All right, you're busy with your job, you're busy with family, but you've made time to support this program. What do you think of Justin Fuente? What do you think of the direction this football program's going in?
Look, I've been a long-time avid Tiger fan. As you mentioned before, I had the opportunity to play at 2 different programs. I had the opportunity to go away to Notre Dame and go to graduate school. I've seen what success looks like on many different levels. Without a doubt, Coach Fuente is the right man for the job. I've been very impressed with him, his staff, and most importantly, the way he's connecting with fans and former players. I think the future's bright. I think Coach Fuente is the man.
There have been very good years in this program's history. There obviously have been lean years as well. Do you think you can get to the point, this program can get to the point where year in and year out, not only are they competitive each and every Saturday, but they can challenge for a conference title on a yearly basis?
Look, hands down, I honestly think the University of Memphis is a sleeping giant. I think we've now got some great facilities. We've got the great programs. We're getting all the local fans involved. I think the future is very, very bright.
All right, Tommy, one more thing before we let you go with the Fambulance. Who of your party, and I'm talking about the regulars, is the biggest consumer of both food and alcohol? Shout out, throw it out there. We want to know who that person is.
I think it might be Jeff Vollmer, my dad, or my brother, Andrew Vollmer. Go Tigers.
Thank you. Go Tigers, go! What a fun bunch. And we thank Tommy and his family for allowing us to invade their space and join in on the party. Before we say so long, a little bit on the Grizzlies. By now, you know the team is dealing with the loss of center Marc Gasol, the reigning Defensive Player of the Year in the NBA. Gasol sustained a grade 2 sprain of the MCL in his left knee last Friday night and is out indefinitely. The Grizzlies have somehow weathered the storm in the past when key players like Zach Randolph or former Grizz Rudy Gay have gone down with similar injuries. But this one is different, as most of the offense plays right through Big Spain. Let's hope the injury keeps him out of action for a much shorter time than anticipated, and the team can hold down the fort until his welcomed return. And that'll do it for now. Enjoy what's left of your Thanksgiving evening, and we'll see you next time.